Good morning and welcome to the morning show with Angel and Tina. Tina, how are you doing today?
I'm back. Let me tell you, there's nothing better than being in your own bed. There's nothing better than being in your own bed, even though,
Whose bed were you in?
oh, so many beds in San Antonio, I can't even think. No, no, but you know, when you're in a hotel, I mean, the hotel beds are nice, but like my bed is my bed. That's like my sanctuary, you know? So I got back late last night. No drama on the airplane this time. Thank goodness. For those of you who watched us on Wednesday, I flew out to San Antonio on Monday and kind of had a little scare on the airplane. So we were going like up. What is it called? Is it called ascending?
Ascending, like you were taking off?
Yeah, we were taking off. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you know, I had my little earbuds in and I heard the captain come on and said, you know, brace for impact. And I said, what did he say? And the guy behind me was like, did he just say what I think he just said? And I was like, he's like, I think he just said brace for impact. And I said, there's no way. And I opened up my thing and we were off the ground, but we weren't like way up in the air. We were, you know, I still seen the field, and all of a sudden our plane went, and we landed like in the way out there in the field in Charlotte Airport. And it was kind of scary. I was like, oh my gosh. I tried to call my kids. Nobody was answering. So, but, you know, obviously I'm here and alive and safe. So.
You survived. Just in case you're wondering how this turned out.
Yeah.
She's all right. She's all right.
This isn't a figment of your imagination. But I'm so excited because we have Chef Maribel in the house today, and our Friday cooking with Maribel on Fridays are going to continue for as long as we want to, because she is going to come every other week to show us new recipes and new techniques. And maybe we can get like maybe we can get her to like show us everything in her kitchen. Like, you know how we wanted her to show us everything in her kitchen?
I do. I can't wait. I need a tour of Maribel's kitchen. Like, I want to go through, and she's like, ta-da! I want to like,
yeah, she like opens up all these little drawers and she's like, and I have this little cool thing. We're like, what is that? And
well,
she's a cool thing.
She's so efficient, right? She's so efficient. She's got, you know, the items that you really will use in your kitchen. Like, we all have things we have, but the items that she's really using, and we get to watch them. I actually went and bought one of those like spatula.
Wait, did you find your rice thingy?
I did. I found my rice
okay, so rice. You didn't give it away, because remember you said you didn't remember if you gave it away or not.
Yeah, I think I was going to, because it, you know, it's kind of big and bulky, and I never use it, but I'm going to start using it thanks to Chef Maribel. So yeah, we definitely need to do like, let's organize our kitchen, or let's take a tour of our kitchen.
What, like the important utensils that you need in your kitchen. But she's cooking some Spanish food again. And I was in San Antonio this week, and my good friend Elvia took me to like some great Spanish restaurants. And you should have seen me. Like, they had their tortillas.
Spanish or Mexican?
Mexican.
Okay.
So they had their tortillas. Here, their tortillas are like, ugh. But as soon as you get the tortillas in San Antonio, I'm like, oh, they smell so good.
Yeah, most
They're
restaurants,
the authentic ones.
Well, most restaurants, they make flour. They're, you know, in-house flour tortillas, fresh, a lot of them. But it's so laborious, and then the corn tortillas are más o menos, like they're so. But the flour tortillas, bar none, they're the best.
Oh my gosh. And the smell, I stole 2 tortillas. So I put them in my suitcase so I can have it.
That sounds good.
But so I was telling you guys, I was having a girls' night Tuesday night, right? So we had this girls' night. It was so fun. It was so fun. She definitely rolled out the royal treatment for me, for sure. We ended the night. We started the night at a Mexican restaurant. We were doing, you know, having some drinks, and she told people that it was my birthday, so everybody was buying me rounds.
Oh, nice. What restaurant did you go to?
Oh, she probably knows.
Okay. No worries.
Mi Tierra, I think. Oh, she's
Tierra?
Mi Tierra.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very like touristic, but it's a must
Yes.
restaurant. It's been there for like 40 years.
Yeah, so it was very nice. You know, we went in there and we did that, and then we ended the night on like a real princess carriage ride. Like
It looks like Cinderella's carriage. In fact, there is something very much like that in Disneyland at Magic Kingdom. A little I'm gonna see if I can find the photo, but it is, you show me the picture of it. You can't sit in it right now because of quarantine at Magic Kingdom, but you were in the actual
like
carriage
we had a horse and it took us around the whole, all downtown River Walk in San Antonio, and we were taking pictures, and we had the best driver ever. Like, she was good at putting music out there, and I took pictures with the horse. His name was Loki. I was like, "Come on, Loki, you want to take a selfie?" And he looked
said like the horse like
he looked up
with you. Yeah, I don't have a picture of when we went to Magic Kingdom just for a couple hours a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was so fun, but it reminded me, because a couple of years ago I went to Disneyland in California, and I looked out the window. We were, in the hotel. I looked out the window. All of a sudden, you see Cinderella's carriage go by, and somebody is getting married.
Oh,
and I was like, "Oh, that's my dream!" Because Cinderella is like my favorite person, and yeah, she was all dressed and all dressed up, and Cinderella's little carriage came going through the parking lot. So I was like, "Oh wow, I didn't know you can have like a complete wedding at Disney."
Oh, you can have.
Okay, so Jay, if you're watching, I think your 30th anniversary should be a wedding at Disney. Could you imagine at Disney? You guys love Disney so much.
I do, but I don't want like the Cinderella wedding. I'm like, not the Cinderella girl.
The Minnie Mouse wedding.
Yeah. I want more like the okay, so my favorite movie, like for the longest time, was Hello, Dolly. I love musicals, and I loved Hello, Dolly. Never seen it, with Barbara Streisand, and yeah, I mean, it's like in this 1940s time period, and so there's horse and buggies and these small towns, and they're all wearing. You've never seen it?
No.
Well, I love musicals, so period. And so but they were, they held parasols with their dresses, and also so for my wedding theme ish.
So you had like the gloves and the
all of my bridesmaids had like, one of these like old style with the bustle and the parasol.
So you did get married in the 80s, right?
I did.
Okay, so but in the 80s, that was like the thing with the big bouffant.
Yeah, big bows and shoulder pads and lace. Yeah, and gloves. Yeah, it was like a cross between Madonna and right, something, right?
Madonna and Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
You got married young.
I did get married young.
Yeah.
I was 22 when I got married.
Oh wow.
Well, I mean, you're coming up on your 30th, right? Because it's 27. 28. So you're coming up on your 30th here in a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
So what a great thing that would be to get married in Disney.
Maybe.
But not the princess part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so who is your favorite Disney character now?
Oh, I'd probably say I like traditional. I like Mickey and Minnie. Like those are my favorites. Probably I'm more the traditional.
I met Minnie Mouse at Disney when I went there that one time. She was doing she came in and did a photo shoot with us, and have all of these photos of us doing all of these things, like blowing kisses and going like this. Like me and Minnie like did this whole photo shoot. I should send it. You
should send that. Oh, you should do a whole little set of Canva things with those. Like
I can do a Canva Disney Minnie Mouse Canva.
I do like Mary Poppins. Like I just love the Mary Poppins thing.
I do like Mary Poppins. I think I've always liked the Mary Poppins.
They're creating a whole little new Cherry Tree Lane at Epcot. in the London town
I
area.
like having
of
these
Epcot.
little these things that you can tell us that nobody really knows, that you kind of know first because all of your kids work there. So
They work at
I like
Disney.
having the inside scoop.
Yeah, I am super excited. Ratatouille, the new ride at Epcot is
How
about
cute
to
that would
open.
be to have the whole Cherry Lane all decked like, and then they doing the little dance.
The music in it. I just love it. I just love it. Well, Maribel, welcome.
Thank you.
Great. We've got Chef Maribel. She's a regular here, so right, but we should
She's our in-house chef.
introduce her for those that haven't gotten to know her, experienced her. Give a little background, Chef Maribel.
I am a former executive chef of my restaurant that was called Yo, and I did Peruvian cuisine.
So
And
what does that mean?
it translates literally to seaweed in Peru. It's the Peruvian word for seaweed.
Okay.
And there's like a story behind that. But, long story short, we wanted something catchy, something that didn't sound associate with a Mexican restaurant, because there are a lot in Texas, and catchy and easy to say. And also seaweed also is a nod to the plethora of seafood and abundancy in Peru. There's ceviche is the national dish there. So it kind of oriented people. A lot of people thought our restaurant was Japanese, and that's fine because there's a huge influence in a Japanese immigrant population in Peru. So that worked. And and I got a nomination from the James Beard Foundation as best chef. So that was great for that restaurant, but COVID happened. And so I quickly switched to doing virtual cooking classes online. I used to teach cooking classes actually in the community. So it was really easy for me to transition to that. And I do enjoy it. I do enjoy sharing the knowledge, letting people know it's not that hard. It's just step by step. It does take a little effort and a lot of love. So
love that. And a lot of love. Well, what are we cooking in the kitchen today?
So today we are all month, I've been trying to dissect in my Mondays with Maribel on my Instagram how to process peppers, because I realize that a lot of people don't understand like what to do with it. There's so many in Mexico. Not only do I do Peruvian cuisine, but I also specialized in studying all of Latin America. So also I am part Mexican by heritage. So I do have a love for Mexican food. And so today we're doing something with the poblano pepper, and I'm going to show you how to roast it. I'm going to show you how to take off the skin. And again, like maybe people know this already, but
no.
Again, okay.
Yeah, no.
So,
Maribel, I just wanted to point out that I'm wearing a headband just for you.
Okay, you caught on to my headband.
I caught on to your headband thing. Oh, look, Angel's like, wait, I want to be in part of it too.
Okay, I don't have to like a real headband, but I'm gonna wear my mask as a headband because I needed like something on my hair today. Like it's just not nice.
It's like a crown now.
Wearing my sunglasses right here, right? Like, pull my hair back. So I bought a couple of these little headbands, and I was like, oh, I have a pink headband. What can I wear with my pink headband? So my whole outfit went around my pink headband for Maribel today.
Yeah, I kind of compromised being in the kitchen as a chef. Like my hair is usually pulled back completely, hairband, tight, whatever.
It's just it pulls back and it looks so cute.
Thanks. And so I just can't get away from that when I am cooking, even in my own kitchen. I do pull back my hair just so it's like it's not visible. Anyway, so we're doing something with poblanos, and I've already kind of started the process. So we're gonna do a roasted chicken, which I already did. That's like another process, but emphasizing on the poblano peppers, we're roasting them and making a cream sauce out of it. So this kind of, by cooking it, you're just getting all the flavor from the pepper, and yes, it'll have a little bit of heat, but we're taking out all the seeds. And
that's what is the heat part of it, is the seeds. Like if you have jalapeno or anything like that, It's the seeds that make it that heat.
Yeah, the seeds and the stem. And for the most part in Mexican cooking, you do leave the seeds in. Again, that's another thing. There's just like so many things that are probably natural for somebody who's used to eating Mexican food or making Mexican food, but maybe not for the general population. So I just want to try to mystify that. And it's just so delicious. And especially since most people are not going out to eat as much. So now's the time to kind of like expand your repertoire. So I remember that this poblano cream sauce was on the menu of one of my brother's restaurants. And I'm like, oh my God, that'd be great to do. So that's my inspiration. My brother had a few, like, he's a restaurateur. He has Mexican restaurants here in Austin, Texas. And together we opened Yuyo. So I've already kind of started some things. So, because, I can't do everything all at once. But let's just start with roasting this. And there's two ways to do it. There's the more careful way, which is on the burner, the gas burner. So if you're outside on the grill or something, that would be amazing to roast your peppers, roast your tomatoes. You can make a beautiful salsa, fresh salsa, or you can make a sauce like this. And so all you do is just you want to blister the pepper. So it's going to start lacking, like pop, pop, pop. And then we sweat it out. And I
think you had gloves on at first. So do you suggest?
I recommend.
Okay.
Well, because I'm gonna touch fire. Like I don't want to like accidentally have my gloves, and so I'm gonna use. You don't
want to use tongs then.
Yeah, you can.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So I have my tongs, and I'm gonna slowly blister this, and that would be the most careful way because you really are just looking at the pepper and you're taking a careful eye on it. The other way, if you're going to make a lot, at once, then I would get a
Can I do this like on the grill? Like what other ways I could do this?
So you can do first, the grill is king in flavor because you want that smoky, delicious grill taste. And then once you blister it, we are going to sweat it and then peel the skin off. But
Can
the
I
other
do this
way
on like an electric burner?
No. You need like no worries. I have another way.
Maribel, it's like, so funny because for the longest time Angel and I have a friend, her name is Martha, and all three of us always took pictures when we were speaking and stuff. And so we would always go, what did she call us? Chicas? Always call us chicas. And
chicas.
So Angel would always go, the three chicas, the three amigas, the yada, yada, yada. And I would always think that Angel was Spanish because she looks like it. And I was like, Angel, one time when we were doing our show, she said something and I was like, but you're Spanish. You don't speak Spanish? And she was like, I'm not.
No, I'm not.
She just hip. She's just hip.
I'm Polynesian. I think I was Polynesian. I'm really not loving my hair today.
So Elvia's watching, and when you put your little thing on, she said you look like a French maid. So maybe you should put your thing back on.
That's what I was gonna say. So if you only have an electric stove, then you can use a broiler. Most household ovens have a broiler because you want like that almost direct flame, right? Yeah. So that's what I usually do when I have to do a lot at one time. And so, like, for instance, I'm going to do a chili relleno dinner, like a 5-course dinner. And so if I have a lot of people and I'm going to do a lot, like 20 peppers, I want something fast and efficient. So I use the broiler, and my broiler is down below. So that's the best way to do it. And you have to watch it. I do it like every.
Do you have there with you, Maribel?
I did 6. And I just wanted to show people what it looks like. Whole,
okay.
Beautiful.
Okay,
and
so
then
these are poblano peppers, right?
Yes, the name is poblano pepper. And see how it's like blistering?
Ooh, and I can only just smell the
right?
Spanish food is like my weakness.
So that's a really important thing. You want to have like your window open, the fan going, because
And the smoke detector turned off because it's probably going to go off.
Well, I'm not smoking anything yet, but I definitely want the fan on. I have my window open. I'm going to open my kitchen door in a second. So you'll smell the fumes. And this is the thing that I realized when I was traveling. I lived in Bolivia and I lived in Peru and well, those two main places I lived, you know, and I had like an apartment or a house and I shared space. So I realized that, you know, this smell is not for everyone, right? They're not used to this smell. And to me, this is home for sure. I grew up, my mom is
Mexican. Like that. It smells okay to me, but what does it smell like?
It's very strong for people. They're not, yeah, it's strong and they're not used to that pepper smell. It like can burn your eyes if you don't have ventilation.
It really can. It really can. Yeah. If you start inhaling, I make a bacon wrapped jalapenos.
Yeah.
I put cream cheese in it. So when I'm slicing them, I got to put gloves on and then de-seed them. And when I'm doing that, if I like, and I get it into my lungs, oh, it's over. It's over.
Right. So also the other thing that I do is I take out the seeds beforehand. I mean, like here it's whole, but I actually sliced and took out the seeds. And before I actually went ahead and broiled them, you know, like in the oven, broiled them on high. And so here's the skin, it's all roasted, and this is what you want to take off. And that's why I was using my gloves previously. And what we're going to do is in just a second, now that you have this idea of what that is, but I want to go ahead and like, I want you to see that it should be completely blistered and black. And people think, oh, you're burning it. But no, in this instance, for this pepper, this fresh pepper, you definitely want all areas evenly blistered, not burnt. And that's what can happen in the broiler. So you have to keep a watchful eye, like 1 to 2 minutes, check it, you know, you're going back and forth kind of thing. And so this is what you would do anytime you use this pepper. You have to take off the skin because that's the bitter part. And if you have that, if you're going to stuff the pepper or you're going to make a sauce with the pepper, you have to blister and take that out. And if you're on the grill, even better, it like blisters beautifully. We had a grill at my restaurant. And so like every week we would, we would grill bell peppers, all peppers. And it's just a delicious.
Different taste when you grill.
Yeah, it's just a delicious taste to a puree of that added to a sauce. We did the pastel de quinoa. I used the bell pepper for that. And again, I did the same process.
Now,
so
is this freezable? Like once you make it into a sauce or anything like that, is it freezable or no?
Yeah, it's cream, so it has fat for sure. But I don't think you're going to have enough left because it'll just be so yummy, unless you want to make a lot at one time, which is very possible. You could freeze it because what we're going to add to this as well is chicken broth. And so the components of this sauce are really simple. And a lot of Mexican cooking is that it's a chili flavor, it's onions, it's garlic, and some kind of broth to make a sauce. And here we're making a cream sauce, so we're adding cream, salt, and then some aromatics like cilantro. And you could use apazote, which is another type of herb that not everyone likes, but it definitely complements this pepper really well. And let's see, oregano, for sure, like dried Mexican oregano is great. And that's it. So I'm gonna let this, we're almost done here. So you'll see this is completely blistered. And what I like to do is if I'm doing a lot at once, I will just put it in a bowl and then I'll cover it with plastic wrap and then it'll start to sweat and then it'll be easy to peel off the skin, right? So let me get myself situated so we can start our sauce. Any questions? Anybody in the audience? Hello.
Everybody's saying that they're going to have this for lunch today.
Okay. So I'm doing half a recipe for this, because I just want to go through it really fast, but you're going to get the idea. And I'm going to post on my blog, which will then post to this show in the comments on Facebook, a full recipe. So yeah, so I'm going to.
I think I want to get these plates that she has with a little lip, because
I
think that you can get so much food on there.
Oh, these are great. These are from Era Ceramics, ERA Ceramics. Look it up online. This plate is actually from my restaurant, and that was one of the components that I wanted to incorporate, something very organic, earthy. Now we're a little bit evolved in our restaurants where we want the complete experience. It's not only the food that's on your plate, it's actually the plate itself as well. Like, where does it come from? You know, what's the thought behind it? So I love these. I want to get a whole line for my kitchen because I'm ready to switch.
Yes, I love them.
Yeah. Era Ceramics. They're a great couple. They live here in Austin. So it's always important to kind of preheat your oven before you add oil. And I am going to add probably a teaspoon and a half. Okay. And so it's already nice and warm. And I'm going to add my onions. I'm adding half a onion. And I only have one view today because I didn't want to mess with the second camera, but hopefully you can see everything.
We can see it. Yeah, we've got you spotlighted, so we're not distracting from the view. It's all you, Maribel.
It's all you. She's like, I love it.
No. All right, so
show, welcome.
Yeah. So
you haven't done your what was the very first thing I ever saw you do? You were like your Julia Child impression. You're like, square in my butter.
Yeah. So I was pan-searing a chicken.
Oh,
when you got
to touch it.
You do. You still have to touch it. The next time, that's like the number one thing. You got to touch your food, especially protein. Is it ready? Is it like? So yeah, with the Julia Child, that was insane. I was crazy. I'm crazy. So I added a pinch of salt just to release a little bit of water from my vegetable, and so it starts kind of cooking and caramelizing and just smell-o-vision going on. And then we're going to add, I am going to add some garlic, and I'm going to let that just sweat. I'm going to let it hang out and just get.
Oh, you've got all sorts of love happening on the screen. They're all loving that. They're like,
Yeah.
Like I wish we did have, okay, in the next 5 years, I'm sure there's going to be smell-o-vision.
Right?
Just smell it through the TV.
Well, if we were in the same city, I would definitely deliver you a dish, at least.
Oh, right? I think I probably should have when I was in San Antonio, I probably should have gotten a stuffed poblano.
Yeah. So the chili relleno, I mean, there's so many ways to do chilies. I'm going to let this sweat. I'm going to put it on medium. And when you're sweating your vegetables, you can either put a top on it so it continues to sweat like this.
Now, why do you call it sweating? Like, why?
Okay.
Like, how is that different than other things that's happening?
That's a good question. So the vegetable has water content. And so we want to expel that water. And so it's like sweating, right? Literally, right? When we expel water, we're sweating. So it's the same process with the vegetables. And we want to expel that so that it changes the chemistry of the vegetable and it enhances the flavor. So it becomes a little bit caramelized, and it just becomes intense, more intense, and it creates a different flavor from raw to cooked, right?
It's just so funny because I think I've heard that, and you know that, and you're like, oh yeah, they have to. I'm like, just though right now as you're talking about, I'm like, what does that really mean? I've never thought about it.
That's what that means, and that's what I try to cover in my cooking program, Club Cocina, where we're really trying to just demystify things, go through things step by step, because you have a recipe, but you can't learn to cook completely. There's always questions that you would like to ask somebody. And that's what I cover in my cooking program. And just those little things, those extra things in a recipe. Yeah, you can look it up on Google. Mr. Google helps a lot, but and so does YouTube. But these are the things like step by step, you know, that is very helpful to have alongside you. So we're sweating that. And what we were talking about, oh yeah. So what I'm going to do is I have, when you have your poblano and already taken the skin off, some of it might be a little charred, and you want to get as much of the black part off. I don't know if you can tell.
Are you going to do anything with that skin, or is that discarded? Do you discard it?
It's just, yeah, it's totally discarded. It's like this like charcoal, like you know, that part I totally take, and that's the bitter part. And believe it or not, you still have a lot of flavor from roasting that vegetable on the pepper, right? So, and it just takes a little bit of the bitterness out, so that's, and leaves all the flavor of the pepper. So what I'm going to do is, so I have one.
Pamela says, only sweat your veggies, not the tough stuff that life tries to dish out. Very clever. Very clever, Pamela.
Speaking of sweating, I have never felt more out of shape than running through the freaking airport with a mask on and like 30 pounds of weight on, you know, carrying 30 pounds of my luggage.
Why were you running?
Because we're trying to get to our other plane when, you know, our plane.
Oh, and you guys had to run? Like you had to rush?
We had to go on the other side because it was leaving like in 15 minutes. And like all of
that's just wrong. You've just gone through this emotional, harrowing experience, and now run or you're going to miss the next one.
Or you're going to miss the next one. But you have the mask on, and my mask was like, I don't normally wear a mask because I don't leave the house. So like when I'm running, my mask is like.
But did you have on a pretty one?
Yeah, it was a pink. Of course.
So I just quickly took off the skin of this one that I just roasted, and I use a paring knife, and I just, you know, scrape it, and that's what you're left with, right? So the pepper, this is ready, and the pepper is it has seeds in it, so
like literally it just peels right off.
Yeah, it totally does.
Why don't you have to have gloves on now?
Oh, you do, but you know.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't need gloves.
Right? Because I mean, isn't that a thing? We're supposed to wear gloves when you're messing with peppers?
I would recommend it for people, but you know, I mean,
you're just so tough.
It's only one. Yeah, and I'm so tough. Yeah. So I'm going to puree this. Actually, I'm going to cook this with my onions and garlic, sorry. And then I will puree it, and then we will start making our sauce. And little strips of this is called a rajas. So you could actually make fajitas and use this pepper and onions, you know.
In fact, that's what's in the fajitas. When you go to a Mexican restaurant or whatever, they give you the onions, and the peppers are like that.
Yeah. So you know, many uses for this pepper. It's amazing. And like I said, I'm gonna put the amounts in my recipe. And this definitely, I'd love this dish at the restaurant.
There's a TikTok that, you know, shows like the kids trying to like fry something, you know, and they put it in the pan, and they have like the lid up, and they're like putting it in the pan, and the mom is going like with her hand in the side of oil. That's what I feel like you're doing. You're like, yep, it's fine. Yep.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So I'm going to add my cilantro. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons to this.
Oh, I love cilantro. Oh.
And my dried oregano. And let's see, pepper, a little bit, just a little bit, like so little. And salt, a little bit more salt. So I'm going to use about half a teaspoon right now. And again, I usually don't measure, but For the
any cook like chef measures anything. Just like an Italian and Spanish people, I don't think they measure. They just like, I don't know, I just put some in there until it tastes good.
Well, I think that you should have a reference what half a teaspoon is. And I think after a while, people know like by adding what that is, like a pinch, and a pinch is like usually an eighth of a teaspoon, you know? So for beginner cooks, having that at first is important. And then afterwards you start to gain your own rhythm. So we're just kind of marrying all the flavors together. And then we're going to blitz it in the blender. And then I'll add my cream and broth, and voila.
Voila. I can just imagine the smell in there. Oh
yeah, it's really good. It's really good. So yeah, this is the, you know, like the basis of sauce, and this sauce poblanos in my cooking course, like the 5-course Mexican dinner, we're actually going to stuff that pepper and then fry it in an egg batter, and it's so good. So I like this too, because you basically get all the flavor of the pepper mellowed out. All right, so folks, anytime you're using a blender, you don't want to pack it full to the top when you're adding something hot, because it will expand when it's has its lid, and it'll explode. So what you want to do
is that speaking from experience there, Maribel?
It might explode if you overpack it because it's hot and heat
I have seen it in kitchens, but I've also seen a lot of people who don't know that. And it's like using your blender 101 that I don't think people realize. Again, something
turning
you're
on
not...
a blender and forgetting to put the lid on, or that, like, oh my gosh, that is like the worst thing ever.
That is the worst. That is the worst.
So I feel so stupid. Like, it's so preventable, and like I totally did this.
Mess.
Yeah.
So hold on. Pardon me. I'm going to talk amongst yourself. If you want to mute me, I'm going to blend this really quick.
All right. Hold on. Wait, give me a second. That I can mute you. I wonder if I can.
I think you did mute her.
I did.
I don't hear nothing. I don't hear nothing from her.
Oh, I did mute her. How did I do that? All I did was click on the picture.
I have no idea what you did. Maybe it was because it was so loud. I don't know.
Huh. All right. Well, look at her. Like, so she's
okay.
She's
so
in there. Okay, let me remove the spotlight.
You know that Monday is March 1st?
What?
I was like, wait, what? I went to go look at our calendar, like, okay, let's see who's coming on our show next week, you know? And I said, it's March?
I guess that makes sense. This was the last week of February. Gosh.
Right.
2 months
like
gone.
that. So 1 year ago today, Angel, we were in Orlando with you this weekend.
This was Media Mastery Boot Camp in Orlando.
Mastery Boot Camp live.
It was the last live event that we did last year. Oh my gosh. It's a year has passed. That's insane.
Year has passed. Right?
Oh.
Wasn't that crazy? Like, we went to Epcot. We had the best time in Epcot Center. Like, the best time. I absolutely loved that time. We very quickly went through all the countries.
We did make it through, because we just kind of sampled just a little bit on the outskirts of each country. But we're there taking lifestyle photos. I have some really fun photos. I don't think we ever used them because...
Remember all those photos I sent you? Of you,
right? Of me talking, and my face was always like...
And then I took that really cute picture of the big, huge Minnie Mouse ears.
Yeah, you had the really cute Minnie Mouse ears.
Oh yeah, we got those.
Yeah, I do. I have some really fun pictures from that. That was a year ago. I cannot wait. I put our next Media Mastery Bootcamp on the calendar for May.
Yeah.
Thinking that, okay, by then we should be able to do something in person. And then I was at an event yesterday And they're like, y'all just need to get back out there and live your life. Like, it's not like we all just like retreated because we wanted to. There was a pandemic.
Yeah, and it's still, I mean, even though yesterday I thought, is there still a pandemic? Because the airport was flooded. Like there was so many people at the airport. I was like, what? And then like every 15 minutes you hear in the intercom, please stand 6 feet away from each other. And we're standing in line. Like, how are you going to sit or stand 6 feet away from each other when people are like going all over the place?
And then you have to stand 6 feet away from each other while you're in the airport, but we're going to stick you on an airplane for 2 hours.
Touching on top of each other.
Right in front of you, right? Like, yeah. It's funny. I don't know. Do you watch movies now? Every now and again, you watch a movie and you see like the way things used to be, crowds, and like, you know, we'd go to events and there'd be all these crowds and all these people, or we'd stand next to each other. And like this, it seems like so long ago we got to do that.
Well, it was funny because when I went to San Antonio, you know, I'm meeting all these people. I would say half the people, you know, I'd go shake their hand and I would forget that, you know, we're in a pandemic. And so half the people are like, oh my God, give me a hug, and, you know, give me a hug. And then half the people are like, you know.
Yeah, you do. You're like going forward. You're like, oh, that's right.
Like, which one do I do?
Tuck to the elbows. If you put your elbow out and I put my elbow out, is that enough distance?
Right. I'm just like, it was so awkward, like, because I'm a hugger, you know, so I you know, went to go in for a hug, and then you're like, okay, shake your hand. Oh.
Did you ever learn? You probably didn't. You probably didn't because you are a hugger. But for people who are not huggers, I remember learning this move. Like, this is the move that if you're not a hugger and somebody's coming in to hug you, like how to avoid the hug.
Oh yeah, tell me, because then that way I can know if they're avoiding me.
If they're avoiding you, right? So when they they're putting their hands like out to hug you, you grab their hands, like reach out and grab their hands and bring them down, right? And say, oh, it's nice to meet you too. Like bring them down like to the handshake. So as they're like reaching out,
anybody's never done that to me.
You grab their hands and say, and then just bring them down. It's nice to meet you too. And yeah, I'm not going to hug you. It's kind of nice for like gals who like have a guy that are like kind of coming in and really it's more of like a personal space kind of thing. But yeah, they go to hug you and you just grab their hand.
I don't think anybody's ever done that to me. That's good that
I've tried it. It's a little awkward,
right?
But it's way less awkward than being hugged by somebody you don't want to be hugged by.
Yeah, true. So, that's very true.
All right, Maribel, you got something pretty gorgeous green over there.
Gosh.
It's beautiful, right? I love adding the cilantro fresh and then sauteing it because for people who are not fans of cilantro, it does tone it down, but gives the brightness that you should have in a sauce. And then I just blended everything together, added my cream, and then I did an extra step, which I recommend, but you don't have to, is to strain it. So you want like a fine mesh strainer in your kitchen, and I just strain it through, and you think it's not going through, but you just need a little rubber spatula to kind of push it through. And it just takes out like any kind of particles that are just not pleasing to
that's a signature Maribel move, is the strainer. And I don't know if like that's super common in the kitchen.
It's a chef thing. It's like that's what
like it's
that's
really not a Maribel thing. It's a real chef thing.
But I don't think I see the strainer thing a lot. You did that when you were making your gravy. You ran it through.
Oh yeah,
you ran it through the strainer. And I'm
showing you everything here. We're keeping it real here.
All her tips and tricks that nobody knows.
Yeah, it's not like magic. Woohoo! It's like, here's the next step. Here's the next step, and this is why. And I added. So if your sauce is too thick, then I added. You want to add some broth. You leave some room to add some chicken broth, right? Something very flavorful. If you're trying to keep it vegetarian, or vegan, you could substitute the cream for coconut milk, because it won't, like, unsweetened coconut milk, really good quality, and then a good veggie broth will make the sauce equally delicious. But the idea is to make it creamy, right? So coconut milk is a good one. Again, you know, you can definitely, it's about the poblano, and the poblano is very present. So here's the final sauce, and I'm going to put it together on a plate with my chicken that I just roasted, and I'm going to take it out of the oven, and I will plate this dish for y'all.
Oh, there goes the Texas accent, right?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely, I can't take it out of me. It's not gonna happen.
You can take the girl out of Texas, but you can't take the out of the girl.
Yeah, no, I can't actually. It's pretty conscious that I do say y'all. It's just easier. So I have my beautiful roasted little chicken quarters. This is great on
Did you touch it? Did you touch it? Did you touch it?
It's ready. Let's see. Let me get this. Oh my God, folks, I love this sauce. I forgot how delicious it is.
When was the last time you made this, Maribel?
I haven't. This is the first time I make it. You know, but you know, the thing that I've been loving about being at home is that I get to cook whatever I want. And if I'm feeling Mexican, I'm going to do Mexican. But you know, when you're in the restaurant, you're like really concentrating on the next thing for your restaurant, you know, theme, right? So I would definitely go to the restaurant and get this.
Okay, so I have a question.
That looks so good.
Did you put the sauce on the side because that's for presentation and that's beautiful? Like at home, if I make it, like I would have put the sauce on top of the chicken.
And then she would have got some dipping sauce, and then she would have soaked it in there, and she
you can totally do that. You can totally smother it. It's totally up to you for sure. I just didn't want to sacrifice my skills of toasting my chicken, you know, skin.
Oh, yeah, right, because it's beautiful. It in itself is a presentation of gorgeousness. Yes.
Yeah, and some people like crispy skin. Some people do like their sauce on the side. Some people actually don't like a lot of sauce, and I'm like, what? I'm a very saucy, spicy kind of gal.
So you order your sauce on the side, right? Like this is perfect because your sauce is on the side, and you can put as much or as little.
These are portobello mushrooms, right?
Shiitake mushrooms that I sauteed beforehand. And so here we are.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm going to just, you know, taste my sauce.
You're going to taste it?
I tasted it earlier. Oh my God, it's so good. You have to try this. I'm going to post the recipe. This is going to make your chicken night, whatever night, so much better. You can mix this sauce really with anything. You can do it with chicken. You could do it with pasta. You could do the, you know, just keep the puree and add it maybe to your quesadilla. You could, there's like so many things.
Okay, so Maribel, you are awesome in the kitchen, right? And we love showcasing you, spotlighting you here on the Angel and Tina Morning Show. You are amazing in the kitchen, and you show every single step. You know the reason for each step. You describe each step, and I think telling the story of why helps us to just become better and more adventurous.
Confident.
In the kitchen,
yeah,
right?
I think Angel and I both learned something new every time you come on. Like Angel learned about sweating today.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, I know what sweating is. I'm in my 50s. I went through that. So we want to make sure that we emphasize and really encourage our audience to participate in your cooking classes. So talk about what's coming up next, how they can get involved with your cooking school.
Well, thank you. So I have a cooking program. It's a cooking membership program. It is a recipe every week. Most of the classes are recorded. Even the live course, they can get it recorded after the fact if you can't meet that class. But that's the fun part about cooking. Again, if you want somebody to coach you, like I will coach you and talk about your fears. We're going to cover frying, we're going to cover sauteing, roasting, all the things, and doing a little bit of beyond your scope of cooking. I think that most chefs may not have an expertise in, which I do, and comfortability. so I'm lucky here in Texas because a lot of people in Texas and over the years, all over the nation, we've accepted the idea of Latin flavors. So I cover that in my class. It's a cooking membership. They can go to my website. It's called Club Cucina. And then apart from that, I'm launching my first downloadable 5-course Mexican meal. So it's everything step by step. It's appetizers with doing salsas from scratch and how to do that, and the recipes for that. It's a video of me going through the process step by step. So you can, access that at your own convenience, and you can have access to me to answer any questions, of course. So it's totopos, which is usually like snacking, like chips and salsas. And the first course is a shrimp and green mole dish. And then the second is a salad. It's a cabbage lime vinaigrette salad. And then the main course is the chile relleno, which is stuffed and then we fry it. So speaking of frying, that's our next step. And I go through that, and then rice and beans, making the most awesome. We did rice last week, rice, and then charro beans, and then dessert is a mango flan. So that will be the first. That's easy package.
I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it. I'm excited for people to do it. Again, I love being able to let people know that they can do it, and that gives me so much joy. Also, it's my way of cooking with people, because I miss, obviously, the restaurant cooking and then serving people. I do a few personal chefing gigs. Last night I did a personal dinner for a couple. They were friends, and they're like, do you do that? I'm like, for you, absolutely. Don't do it for everyone. And because, it's like me talking and doing a course in their kitchen. So I definitely want to do that for people that really enjoy and learn and whatever. So that's me. And they can find me on Instagram.
You have taken this and just blew up with it. You have a lot of fans here on the Angel and Tina Morning Show.
Yay!
Watching you. So it's
It's
so amazing that you're on. Chef Maribel is going to be on every other week on Thursday. So from here on out, every other Thursday, starting in 2 weeks, she's going to be showing us different things, how to stay fit, making healthier recipes.
Oh yeah, that was a funny one.
Or maybe not so healthier recipes.
Right. This is definitely on the extra with the cream. But the other ingredients are not that, not that heavy.
Pretty healthy.
Yeah. I mean, when you're cooking at home, it's number one, always going to be healthier.
Yeah.
You know what's going in there. It's not a ton of fat. You can cut back where you want to. You can add flavor. Maybe it's looser. Maybe it's not as thick and you add more broth. That's still incredible flavor. And that's the point. You want to eat something good, right? And you can't always go to your favorite restaurant, or maybe people have like a restricted budget. I know I do. And that's why I cook at home. But check me out on Instagram as well. Mondays with Maribel, I do a little video of tips that people can hopefully learn something from. I went through all the chili processes, starting with the bell pepper and what can you do with that kind of thing. So we'll see what I come up with next month. Probably cleaning, organizing, right? Spring is around the corner.
Yeah, Angel, she wants a tour of your kitchen.
Okay. And maybe I'll just do a video of before, because my pantry is a disaster. It's a disaster.
Yeah, we can do it before and after.
Yeah, and I'll record it before, and then I'll show you after what I did.
Those are like my favorites, right? There's whole TV stations and shows all around the befores and afters of organized.
There's a show on Netflix right now.
Home Edit.
Yes. Yeah. And oh my gosh, I seen the
I love that show. I devoured it one weekend.
What they did with her closet, I was like, oh, I want her to do that.
So So our before and after will be, let's talk real, people. I don't have a huge pantry and I don't have a lot of space nor the budget to afford all those crazy containers.
Right.
Let's be creative. Let's figure that out.
Yeah, all those big jars that are, yeah. I'm like, yeah. I actually have that stuff in my pantry when I have my
I bet you Tina has all that stuff. Like she's
I actually do have those big jars and the Oreo cookies all filled and stuff like that in my house when I have.
Yeah, see, I'm not a big fan of taking things, if they have a box or a package, I am not a big fan of taking them out of a package and giving them a different package. Like that's just not my thing.
Well, my best friend was sell Tupperware for a very long time, and so I'd go to her parties, and the things that she would tell me that you would bring home with you from the grocery store if you don't repackage these things, I'm like, what? Yeah, they're all be.
That's a very good point, Tina.
So like all my cereals, I take out and I put them in plastic containers. Pasta, I take out and I put them in plastic containers.
It's actually true. We do that in the restaurant. We actually I would take out as many packages as possible into a new container for the reason of warehouses are a crawling space for things that you don't want.
Yeah. She's like, I'm done.
Y'all are messing with, like, yeah, I'm just like,
Angel, when she told me that, I was like,
yeah.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I need the whole entire set.
What is it from the Pampered Chef? Because I'm doing a personal chef thing for them coming up.
No, are you? I sold Pampered Chef and she sold Tupperware. So, we would always share experiences and stuff like that. But when she told me that, I was like, yeah, I need that whole entire set.
Okay. I'm going to open up my pantry. I'm going to go and like, now I got to put, I mean, you always see in them like the jars and the thing. I'm like, who repackages this stuff? It comes in its own package. But now
I know.
A reason that, who told that? It's the container people who are telling you there's germs on those packages. You need fresh packages.
It's not just germs.
Yeah.
It's not just germs. I won't say that here on the show, but it's not just germs. Let me tell you.
Right.
When she told me that, I was like, what? Yeah. She got it. She got us all to buy. Let me just tell you.
Yeah,
that was like
I didn't think it was true, but it is very true.
All right. All right. I got some things to clean. I gotta go. All right. So Maribel, are we gonna do your kitchen? Because I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna need some of these tips because apparently I gotta repurpose and recontain my food.
I'll just go down there and do your whole pantry for you, Angel.
Absolutely. I'm not going to show you my before right now because it is a little embarrassing, but it's been on my mind for sure. And I will I constantly have to rotate things.
Okay. So Maribel, you have to do like a real before picture.
Yeah, you do have to.
Yeah. Like just now, I'm just telling you, take the real before picture.
I will.
And then you can take the before picture you want to show us. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
No, I'm going to show for real what it is. I mean, what's the point,
Right? But I think, because once you do it, then you do almost want to show the for real of how big of a transformation it really was. And my husband and I, we bought this house and nobody's lived in it. So it's a project. Like there's a lot of stuff. And like some of the things were like, oh, we should have taken the before picture.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't think like afterwards, like, oh, because it was such a transformation and it looks so much different.
Yeah.
But
you get busy.
It's icky. I mean, it's ugly. Yeah. It's like, I don't need to see an ugly picture of how messy it was, but it's
good to show that though. It's good to show that.
Yeah.
It is.
All right. Well, fabulous show. Happy Friday, ladies. Grab your complimentary media starter kit at makeyourbigimpact.com. We've got lots of fun stuff coming up. It is going to be March very, very soon. We've got lots of great things happening. But get started at makeyourbigimpact.com.
Yes, for sure. Also, text the word connection to 26786. You can also grab your book, Beyond Gratitude, still $5 on Amazon. Go to beyondgratitudebook.com to grab your copy. We are Angel and Tina on the Angel and Tina Morning Show, where we come to you live every weekday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. Chef Maribel, thank you so much. We love you so much. We hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will see you March 1st.